Okay, hi everyone. The topic for today's video is the meta. And let me first start off by saying the meta is not a static thing, it's always changing. Furthermore, it is differentiated by skill level or perhaps rating. We could probably come up with some rating thresholds for where the meta is, but I'll try to just explain it in terms of like low, mid, and high level metas. And we'll start off with introducing the topic of alliances. Now, it's not a big deal in normal chess, but in four-player chess, we do have alliances. And, well, is it a good idea to get in an alliance? As far as the game currently works, the short answer is yes. There is a caveat for a specific mode that was being pushed for a while, and was also pushed for the four-player chess world championship, as far as I understand it, which is that it was a winner-take-all system. So there's really no point to go for alliances. Well, there's less of a reason to go for alliances in a winner-take-all system. But as far as the rating system works right now, you basically are playing 3 games at once, one versus each opponent. And so if you can guarantee yourself a first or second, that's sort of like in regular chess we say playing for 2 results, playing for a draw or a win. If you're playing for first or second, you're guaranteed to gain rating. And so that's why an alliance could work out. Okay, so now that we've established that alliances are better than no alliances, if you're going to play the game, who would you like to ally with? And so this is the basic, fundamental topic of the meta. Who should I ally with? Now, there are 3 options, right? We could go ally, if we're red, we could go ally with blue, green, or yellow. And just to give you the short answer, the best alliance is to ally yourself with a cross player. So red with yellow and blue with green. Okay, why is that the case? Well, a few reasons. One, I'll talk about the advantages of allying cross first. The advantages of allying cross are, well, it's going to be tough for you to attack this person. Your knights can basically never attack cross, right? It would take a knight just 6 moves just to get even close to the enemy king. Your bishops, they cannot easily range the opponent, so you'd have to somehow get your bishop over to here or here or here, one of these squares, in order to attack yellow. Also not really going to happen early, because then green would just scoop up your bishop with some of his pieces. So your bishops can't really attack cross, your knights really can't attack cross, your queen can. The queen can easily come out and attack cross. But your rooks also typically can't, because it's hard to use them in the early game. It's hard to get them developed. Occasionally you can, push a pawn, capture, and open a rook file, but that might not be enough for an attack in and of itself. Okay. Also, so if it's impossible to attack someone, you might as well ally with them, right? That's basically the reasoning there. Also, it's fair to both players, relatively fair anyway. So if you have red and yellow on a team, and if I'm red, I can start an attack on green after he moves, and before it comes back to him, well, we have an opportunity for yellow to attack him as well. Okay, blue in the meantime can try to do something to disrupt, but so we have to keep that in mind. But it can also work the other way. So yellow can attack blue after he moves, and then I, as red, could join in on that attack before he can move again. So we have an equal opportunity to attack both players. All right, and that's going to be important when we talk about allying with the person next to you. So if we talk about allying with the people next to you, well, why isn't that part of the meta? Why don't we see 2 people allied here versus 2 people allied over here, or vice versa? Ally with green and then blue ally with yellow. Well, I guess the first thing that comes to mind would be, which side would you like to ally with? Would you like to ally with blue or green? And if you have to make that determination every game, it might be hard to do so. Right? You'd have to put out a lot of feeler moves. You might have to resort to typing in chat, which is disallowed. So it's tough to set up the alliance. And then, furthermore, I might just have a preference to begin with. I might prefer to ally with blue than green, and in fact, I would. Red would prefer to ally with blue, blue would prefer to ally with yellow, and we would have a sort of circular pattern. Why would that be? Well, imagine I'm playing as red, and now I make a move, right? And now we have plenty of time, in fact, one move from blue, before the enemies would get to move. In this case, these would be enemies, and these would be allies over here. So we have some time for blue to follow up on my attack. I could lead the attack. Blue could follow up on my attack, or blue could himself fix any mistakes that I make. So if I move a piece in a bad place, he could fix my mistake. So it's sort of like a safety net that you would have with the person to the left of you. Now, if I'm allied with green, that would be the opposite situation, right? If I'm allied with green, then green moves. I cannot lead the attack. I can only follow up on green's attacks. So I lose a little bit of agency there. And well, now if green attacks poorly, then I can't follow up. Or if green makes a mistake, I can help and follow up. But if I make a mistake, green cannot follow up. I'll just get smashed by blue and yellow. So it's a little bit more favorable. If you're the stronger player, I would say you sort of get to lead the attack to be allied with the person to the left of you. And I haven't thought about it too much. There's probably more reasons than that, but that's my first intuition as to why I prefer one or the other. And indeed, since it's not symmetrical, like allying with cross, there should be one or the other that is better. And if there's one or the other that I would prefer, then we can never come to an understanding, because everyone would like to ally in a certain direction anyway. So even if I got the reasoning a little bit wrong there, still it should be the case that I prefer one or the other, and thus wouldn't I would get into a game and I'd have to pick one side, right? And in many cases it would be unfavorable for me. So if you get into an unfavorable alliance, that's not good. So one last point for a higher level discussion about the cross alliances. It still is a little bit unfavorable in certain cases, or I guess unbalanced, not unfavorable. When red delivers a check, and for example, yellow has a way to follow up with checkmate. This is a common check. I guess I can just put it on the board, right? We might see some kind of opening. And then this is a typical mating pattern where green would get checkmated early. And in this case, red is a little bit favored because he gets to take this valuable queen of yellow's. Yellow has some compensation. He has the 20 points from the checkmate, but at this point in the game, say we get an early checkmate, it's much more valuable to have the queen, and remember you get an extra 9 points for capturing yellow's queen. Much more valuable to have that queen than to have the extra 11 points. So it's a little bit unbalanced. However, most people would probably overlook this because, well, you're sort of guaranteeing yourself top 2 anyway. And one thing I'm not too sure about in the meta right now is whether or not red would prefer to move away. and let yellow maintain that queen in order to checkmate blue first and then duke it out? Probably not. Probably in most cases, yellow would just take, or red would just take this. It would be an unbalanced position. Yellow would be a little bit behind because he has the 20 points instead of 9 points plus a queen. So, so in this case, if you are allying cross, it does benefit you to attack the person to your right, because when you deliver the mate or whatever, in many cases, you will get to move first and capture yellow's piece or get out of the way first. So basically, after the blow lands, you will get the first move advantage. So by the same token, yellow, if he attacks here, right? I don't know whose turn it is now. Blue. So if yellow attacks here, and we get a mate, then yellow would have a benefit, right? Yellow could take this and it would be the same situation. So so that is sort of a high level analysis. So even allying cross is not completely balanced. There's an unbalanced position that comes that basically favors the person who gets to move first after the checkmate comes. So so keep in mind that even if you're allied, yes, it's still better to take one person out and play for 2 results, first or second, than it is to not ally at all. But there will still be one person on the alliance who comes out with a favorable result. All right. Next. So how does this affect the meta? Well, the meta is getting closer and closer to 2v2 strategy, at least in the early game, compared to before. Why would that be? Well, basically, if 2v2, you're allied from the start. From move 1, you're just trying to checkmate one of the opponents. And just take as an example, take for example, blue and green, who are probably trying to ally but sort of playing for themselves in the early game, and maybe just trying to develop. And then white and red, perhaps they're going for a more aggressive opening and they're trying to ally more quickly, right? Okay, so maybe blue just develops, and green just starts to develop, and now, just like before, okay, I'm just gonna let them get mated quickly. This is not that realistic, but okay, blue might be more developed than red and yellow, but he's still in a very unfavorable position. Anytime someone gets eliminated, now these pawns are free to go promote. So, and these pawns will basically have a very hard time promoting because there's a lot of flanking pawns on both sides. So basically, the earlier you ally and you kill someone, the easier it is to play for 2 results. So that's why the meta has been getting closer and closer to 2v2 strategy. If you are playing for yourself for a while and then allying, well, someone who allies a little bit faster would just dominate you. And so as we get higher and higher in the ratings pool, so as you get closer and closer to the few top 100 spots, top few hundred spots, people start to play more aggressively and ally earlier. And so that sort of transitions me into talking about the meta at different levels. But before I go there, I'll basically just say the openings for 2v2 start to become important. You should start to learn some of those openings if you want to play even a free-for-all once you get to 2,000 plus, 2,100 plus, and so on. And even if you don't know the openings, you should try to be active in the opening in case others get their play going very quickly. Okay, so now the meta at different levels. We have low level, mid level, high level. So basically, once you're just starting out at a low level, I think the starting rating is 1500 with a question mark. When you're provisional, and if you're playing with other people at that level, there's basically no reason at all to team. If you try to team and try to work together with people, they're just not even going to see the tactics. And sorry to be blunt about that, but that's just how it is. So just grind a little bit until you have a higher rating. You can play a very defensive style, where you try to close it off. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to the analysis board. Right. You could try to close it off, especially with the person to your right, who would have an easy. To the person to your left, who would have an easier time attacking you. So, let's see if I can, just edit position. So something like this would be normal, where you have a position that's difficult to crack from this side. Actually, you might even want to have this pawn here, so there's no diagonal to your queen coming. So something like this, where it's very hard for blue to crack this, and so he's disincentivized from attacking you. That would be good. Find a safe place for your king. I think there's other videos on my channel talking about king safety. In fact, I know for a fact you can go check out the Big Topics #1 video for more on that. And play in generally defensive style. Let's see. Okay. If you are a mid-level player, so now you're getting to 1800 plus, up to the 2000 range, you should start expecting your opponents to work together a little bit, expecting some tactics. Don't leave yourself open to anything from blue, because green will take advantage of it if blue starts to attack. Almost guaranteed. So you'll have to actually rely on your teammate somewhat. There will be efficient teamwork between blue and green, so you'll need to rely on your teammate as well. And talking about relying on teammates, you basically need to rely on your teammate up to the point where you would be unable to perform well without relying on him, which basically means at a medium level, if you don't rely on your teammate at all, it doesn't matter, either blue or green, either your teammate or you are going to be smashed by the even mediocre teamwork coming out from blue and green, because that's just how teaming works. Even if they squash your teammate first, they'll just come and squash you next and fight for the top two. So you're not going to gain rating, you're not going to do well unless you trust your teammate. And what's the worst that can happen? If they don't team with you, then there's not much you could have done anyway. And even if they do team with you and you fail, well, you didn't change anything, right? It's just as if you had not teamed. So you're still you're doing poorly either way. So the best thing you can do is trust your teammate to some degree. Don't try to play really complicated tactics. Don't try to play combinations that will be very complicated, because at the level you can't expect him to see everything, but lean on your teammate when you need to. Okay. To give more specific examples of that, I would like to, ask you to check out some other videos I have on gameplay, and I'll be coming out with more in the future to help you understand those topics. And then on a high level, you're basically full on from move 1 in 2v2 mode, and I can't say much more than that, because I myself right now, I sort of just passed through the mid-level. I'm starting making videos now on July 29th, and as of right now, let's take a look. I've been playing for the last maybe 2 weeks, and now I've cracked the top 300 players. So in most of my games, it's pretty hardcore early teaming. Many strategies have disappeared from the meta, like you might be used to some players in your games like playing early pawn moves that just go for an early queen, right? You won't see this at the top level because wait, let me go back. Blue won't do that. Blue will do that. That's right. So now, yeah. So if you just keep trying to push your pawns, strategies like that will disappear, and you will quickly see that blue and green will be able to attack either yellow or red because they've wasted so much time on these pawn moves. So honestly, I'm very happy with that. These early just mindless pawn pushes and hope you get there, in my opinion, is just a very cancerous and annoying strategy. So I'm happy to see that not developing gets punished. I mean, that's huge. That was not part of the meta when I was playing a lot before I took a break. Basically, you would see a lot of like super hardcore and desperate measures by a player like blue to go and stop this pawn, and then yellow, if he did that, green would have to sacrifice a knight early. And now you don't even have to do that stuff. You could just bring your queen down and go kill them if they try this. So it's nice. It's a good change to the meta, I think. And so talking about how exactly you should do teaming at a high level, I don't think I have all the knowledge yet to bring that to you. But I would like to go through and do some game analyses soon, high-level game analyses, and check out what they are doing. Since everyone's profile and game history is public, that should be pretty easy. Just go check how people are playing. Not going to say it's going to be easy to understand all their moves, but it should be easy to find some games to go analyze. So I think I'll end this video here for today. Give me all your feedback in the comments. Let me know what you think, or if you think the meta is healthy, if the meta is cancerous, if the meta needs a rework, if the rules need a rework. Should we go to strictly winner takes all? What's your opinion? Let me know. And hope you found this video useful, especially if you're a low level or mid-level player. And thanks for tuning in. You'll see more content coming up soon.